Hello everyone, Cheppandis, Chepputelsu Ledu Kadu guys. My name is Shubham Sagar. Today is 4th December 2025 and yeah. So let's start the Hindu analysis. Before we start Hindu analysis, there is one thing. Let's talk about that and then we'll start Hindu analysis. So just give me a second guys, just give me a second. So every day I tell you people to donate. So again, Iltush has donated today. And thank you, Iltush, means a lot. She has donated for the second time now. And as I keep on telling you people, every single donation matters. So thanks a lot, Iltush. Thank you so much. Means a lot. So let's start the discussion. And again, you people can also donate if you can. Cool. Okay. So today is 4th December. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn snapshot. Oh my God. It's cool, right? And this is my Telegram channel. I'll be sharing this into analysis PDF by 9:30 a.m. Cool, sir. So, good morning, Harshini. Good morning, Annie. All of you. Good morning. Yesterday, I gave you people this particular question. What is the answer of this particular question? Harshini, Annie, and everyone. Sanchar Sathi app in India primarily aims to do what? What is the basic aim of this? I think many of you answered it yesterday, but yes, try to answer it today as well. Monitor all online messages on WhatsApp and other apps, verify device authenticity and prevent use of counterfeit or stolen mobile phones, facilitate government surveillance of political opposition, replace existing SMS-based communication. So, any and monitor all online messages on WhatsApp and other apps. Cool. So, Annie and Harshini, they have given the answer. Verify device authenticity and prevent use of counterfeit or stolen mobile phones. Very good, yeah. So 11th B. Let's come back to the present and let's talk about today's article. First article of the day: the climate is breaching the wall of urban metrics. We have talked about these things a lot, but again here Vasudevan Mukund sir, he's talking about certain new stuff. What are those new stuff? So there are different indices, world top 10 cities where you can live, or livability index, this and that, UN Habited. This is one organization of UN which is headquartered in Nairobi, Kenya, which talks about sustainable habitat. Now, tell me one thing: is sustainable habitat a part of NEPCC, guys? Yes or no? Just give me a second. So, Nairobi, and you see this UN Habitat, they publishes a lot of index, city prosperity index, global level, oh my god, livability index, city resilience index. What this article talks about is, generally when you talk about these index, now you focus on certain stuff and you ignore a lot of stuff. And there is a loop which happens here. There are two types of loop which you will read in economy: vicious loop and virtuous loop. Vicious loop and virtuous loop. So vicious loop has a negative connotation. So, and virtuous loop has a positive connotation. What is the meaning of these terms, vicious and virtuous loop? So, good morning, Iltosh. So, yes, vicious loop is like negative. Let's say there is poverty, and because you are poor, then you will try to produce a lot of children so that you have more helping hands who can earn for you, right? So, poverty leads to high population. Then again, you will not be able to teach them. So, they will again remain illiterate. If they are illiterate, they will not get better jobs. They will again be poor. So, this is a vicious loop. Poverty, population, illiteracy, then again the same thing will go on and on. Virtuous loop is, let's say your country has high GDP, high value of goods and services are being produced, more people are employed, they have more purchasing power. If they have more purchasing power, they will means buy more goods. If they are buying more goods, then there will be more incentive for companies to make more goods and services. That will lead to increase in GDP. So this is a virtuous loop. So vicious and virtuous loop. This whole scenario, which we'll talk about right now when it comes to cities, this is not exactly a vicious loop. This is not exactly a virtuous loop. It lies somewhere in between the whole thing which is happening. What is happening is, let's try to understand this article, important article. Why? Because you have GS3, disaster management. Cyclone Titwa happened, so many things, so many regions were impacted. Tamil Nadu was impacted, Sri Lanka was impacted. But and then you have urbanization in GS1. So basically, when you see, ranking also, these rankings take into consideration these things: airports, metros, boulevards. What are these boulevards? Pay attention to the keywords. Boulevards is when you are, constructing linear projects. Again, pay attention to this word also. What is linear projects? Let's say I'm making some roads. So this is a linear project. So around these roads, I will make some trees. So this is a linear project. So around this linear project, I'm constructing trees. You may have seen it on both sides of the roads. So these whole setup is known as boulevards. So these are the areas on which livability index and this and that is focusing on, rather than focusing on desilting drains, enforcing building codes, relocating people from dangerous areas. Have a look at these factors. And why do you focus only on 6, 7, 8 cities of the world? Like 8 cities of the country? I will tell you, you people were not born at that time. There is something known as ease of doing business index. If you people know who publishes ease of doing business index, you can write it in the comment section. So ease of doing business index, they also focused on, and that was their criticism. They focused on just few cities. Let's say Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai. They ignored a lot of cities. Same thing is happening with these index: city prosperity index, global livability index, city resilience index. And it is not only happening to India, it is happening worldwide. They are focusing on few cities, and then what governments do, be it of India or other countries, they will try to develop these cities, be it Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, and they will ignore the other areas. They will ignore, there are terms here: secondary cities, peri-urban areas. So like, let's say secondary city, Kanpur, Lucknow, etc. They will ignore them. Peri-urban area, again, what is the meaning of peri-urban area? Areas which are lying at the junction of urban and rural areas. Because we know in most of these index, other cities don't matter. Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, these are the cities which will matter. So countries, they will try to show get, and that's what India also did. When it comes to ease of doing business index, we performed a lot better in later years, because we focused on those cities where World Bank was going, and they were looking into this, indicators and all. World Bank publishes ease of doing business index. Very good, Intush. So here also same thing is happening. Cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and Chennai, they are grouped as similar in global rankings. Most of the state government, central government, they are focused on these cities. But do they, or can they protect us against cyclones and extreme rains? That is a question which we are asking via this article. What is modern urban life all about? What limitation, there is when we talk about global city indices? So Asia's recent flood exposed these failures. Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, the so-called big cities, etc., they were devastated. And no livability index, no city prosperity index, city resilience index came to save them. So again, there has to be some parity, there has to be some scientific criteria on which these indices are published, even by UN Habitat. Cool. So NAPCC, World Bank, very good, Atush. We have discussed about NAPCC, National Action Plan on Climate Change. And I have told, okay, yes, sir, yeah. So NAPCC, what is the mnemonic to remember NAPCC, guys? 8 missions. Key flaw: vulnerable settlements are excluded. You're not covering vulnerable settlements. You're focused on some important cities. Even in those cities, what is happening? Let's try to understand. Even in those cities, you're focused on airports, you're focused on road construction, boulevards. You're not focused on desilting. So let's see how this loop develops. Because these cities, you have airports, you have roads, let's say Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai. So more and more people will settle in these areas, prices of property will rise, and again a vicious loop will arise. And when the Bangalore flood happened, this happened, then these areas will be impacted, because you did not focus on other parameters. You will just focus on those parameters which will increase your livability index in these publications, etc., etc. So structural shortcomings in urban preparedness. There is, like, very minimal focus on drainage capacity, safe housing access, hillside, construction risk. We are basically focused on, as we have discussed. The governments are basically focused on these things. Airports, metros, let's have Patna Metro, this and that. Although that Patna Metro is going through only 3, 4 locations, but doesn't matter. Let's have Patna Metro. Whether, again, I will, let's take the example of Gurugram. Even 3 millimeter rain happens and the drains are clogged, the roads are flooded. This is a proper example of what we are discussing here. Gurugram is a, high, like, if you go to certain areas of Gurugram where Microsoft and other companies are, you will feel like you are in Singapore. But then the other area of Gurugram will, in a way, amplify the statements which are given in this particular article. Cities that score well in business climate and connectivity attract investment even if they ignore drainage. Just remember Gurgaon or Gurugram. I like Gurgaon better. Floodplains or risky hillside. So something has to be done. This is actually a flawed model. So Harshini and Entush, they have given the answer. Cool. Indices create inequity. So rising land values in flood prone areas, like appear as prosperity, as we have just discussed. So, governments are focusing on these cities: Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai, etc. So their land value will increase. People will settle here. Wealthier people, they can cope up with all these things. So Bangalore flood happened, this and that. So wealthy people, they are well off. But the poor people who are living at the junction of Bangalore and the adjoining villages, they will be the worst sufferer. All these things are happening because we are not focusing on holistic development of cities. We are focusing on certain criteria which indices take into account. International funding reinforces bias. And again, since you are much more livable, more and more companies will come in your particular city, that city, more funding will be coming to those cities, and this whole loop will keep on going. To receive climate funds, cities must prepare specific plans. You can read all these things. Only now, there are different banks. Just give me a second, guys. So there are different banks: ADB, Asian Development Bank; AIIB, NDB, World Bank, etc. Especially World Bank, IBRD, IDA. So they help developing countries, they help their cities in different ways. And then they tell you that if you are fulfilling these criteria, then we'll be giving you loan and all those stuff. So they focus on those criteria, ignoring the bigger criteria, as we have discussed, desilting drain, etc. Cool. You can understand what this article is saying. This is, we already know these stuff. Just remember, this article is just saying that we are focusing on narrow things, and cities are going through a loop which is somewhere in between the vicious and the virtuous loop which we are talking about. So media analytes adopt terms like world class, top 10, most livable. Airport, trains, boulevards does not make a city most livable. Gurgaon or Gurugram is a proper example of that. You need to have a proper drainage system. Just because indices don't focus on drainage system does not mean you will ignore it. Otherwise, you will become a city like Gurgaon. Okay, so again, read all these things in your free time, guys. Hope you understood the basic rationale of this article. Let's solve some questions. And then there are some awesome articles today. Peri-urban areas. What do you understand by peri-urban areas? Peri-urban areas are best described as what? Central business districts of major cities, rural-urban interface zone where cities expand into surrounding villages, only slum areas within metropolitan city, regions far from any urban settlement with no urban influence. What is the answer? Chapatīs, guys. Chepu తెలుసు లేదు కాదు, guys. So Harshini has given the answer. Peri-urban areas are rural-urban interface zones where cities expand into surrounding villages. Very good, Harshini. Very good, Rishi. Very good, Annie. Very good. MCQ2. Which of the following factor is least likely to be considered in major global livability or prosperity indices? We have discussed what they basically focus on and what they don't focus on. So Harshini, Rishi, Annie, they have given the answer. Who are good boys and girls? You people are. So what do they focus on? And you just have to see what we have discussed in the article, what they don't generally focus on, which is, and just remember Gurgaon. Oh my God, Gurgaon is pathetic internet system, guys, with due respect to Gurgaon and Gurugram. Number of hospitals and schools in the city, presence of metro and airport infrastructure, drainage capacity to handle extreme rainfall, quality of public transport. Iltush has given the answer. No, not metro. Metro, hospitals, these things. Drainage capacity. We were talking about drainage system. See, if you go back, essential but invisible risk reducing work is neglected in these indices. This desilting drains, enforcing building codes, relocating people from dangerous area. Let's say Chennai flood happened. Chennai is impacted by Ditwa. If Chennai is doing awesome work in rehabilitating people, Chennai should get better rank than, let's say, Delhi or Gurgaon. Gurgaon should get worse rank than Chennai when it comes to managing these things. But that is not happening in indices. They focus on airports, metros, boulevards, and all those stuff in these indices. Livability index. How beautiful you are, how beautiful you look. It's all about exterior beauty. I hate it. There is something known as interior beauty as well, but we generally don't do that. Look that way again. So the answer here is not B, guys. Oh, where is the answer question? Most of these indices, they ignore this thing. See, drainage capacity to handle extreme rainfall. How come all of you are giving the wrong answer at the same time? Least likely to be considered in major global livability index. They focus on hospital, schools, metro, airport, quality of public transport. They generally don't focus on this drainage capacity to handle extreme rainfall. just think of it this way, that Gurugram, if they would have focused on this thing, most of these companies, they would not have come to Gurugram would not have got so high indices that it is similar to Singapore, oh my god, similar to Hyderabad. Why this is happening? Because drainage system is not one of the criterias. Are you people understanding? Iltush, Harshini, Rishi, Gajanan, all of you are giving the same wrong answer at the same time. Why the answer is not B? Why the answer is C? Chepandi Cheputalsu Ledu Kadu, guys. Oh my god. So just remember, whenever you get these questions, remember Gurgaon, very good indices, but very poor drainage system. Because drainage system does not matter. Because that is internal beauty of Gurgaon. That only comes to the fore, Let's try to understand. There's a beautiful girl, beautiful boy. You're like, oh my god, Vijay, Kutti story, such a good looking girl, Trisha, and all. But let's say they get angry a lot, that will not come in the first 3 4 months. You will be like, oh my god, he's the best, she's the best. Once you start living with that person, then you realize, oh, she has anger issue, he has anger issues. So inner thing does not count, or you don't see it in the shorter term. And these livability index, they also don't look into it. When you live in Gurgaon, when these industries came to Gurgaon, they stayed there, they have their setup here, then they realize, oh my god, the drainage system is pathetic compared to the worst cities in the world. Very good. So Harshini, Iltush, Gajanan, all